Hello. Hello, replay people. So, yesterday I got to see President Trump live and in person in Miami. And I gotta say, it's so much easier to film him doing his thing from wherever I am with my computer. I don't know what that noise is, but anyway. Anyway, President Trump is live right now from the White House where he is making an announcement. Hello, Jasmine. Now, President Trump's announcement today, um, I just listened to a little bit of it. So I will let you know it is about the weight loss drugs. And I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of losing weight using anything but your God-given ability to digest food. Hey, Holly, I'm glad you're on live. You're right on time. Hi, Jerry. Hi, everybody. So welcome to today's show. And this is going to be very interesting because this is about weight loss drugs. And I hate them. I think weight loss drugs are stupid and crazy. And I don't think anybody should ever take a drug or pay to lose weight. And to prove that, just a few weeks ago, I did a 7-day fast of no food. And I proved that you don't need to eat every day. And I often do rolling fast, 24 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours. Sometimes I even go up to 100 or 112 or something like that. Anyway, 7 days is a lot. And I don't think that we're meant to do that too often, but because I'm going to be 60 this year and my health is of the utmost importance to me. And I don't believe in health insurance. I don't think there is such a thing. You cannot insure your health. The only way to ensure your health is to be healthy and eat healthy and do things that make your body strong and spend time outside and move your bones, even if all you do is arm twists or whatever. Seriously, it's a really good thing to do. Like rolling your arms, doing the circles and everything. It's more beneficial than you even know. And yeah, sad Ozempic face. It's not cool, Holly. You're not supposed to take drugs to change your weight. And it's in the Bible that God said, do not worry about what you're eating and all that stuff. It's not godly. He designed our bodies so perfectly. We are not supposed to have to take drugs to lose weight, okay? That is crazy cakes. And you can't lose weight by doing the same things that made you fat in the first place. So none of that works. And Ozempic or any of those, things you're going to inject or pills or whatever, they're going to destroy your relationship with food. And that's really important. You don't want to get sick every time you eat, do you? That's horrible. So I don't do yoga. I really have never been into yoga. I just think you do whatever makes you feel good. As long as you're moving and using the body that the Lord gave you, you're going to be fine. You shouldn't overthink it. All right, so anyway, President Trump is live right now. And of course, we're going to come in at the beginning so we don't miss a thing and hear what he has to say about the weight loss drugs. And I can assure you, I love me some President Trump, but on this situation, I'm very skeptical and I don't like it. I'm not just skeptical, I'm flat out against taking drugs to lose weight. Flat out against it. I think it's a terrible thing. So, okay, let's go. Let's see what President Trump has to say about this. And yeah, maybe when I'm 62, I'll sign up for Medicare. I mean, I deserve it. I'm an American citizen. All right, let's turn it around.
Tremendous cuts, 200%, 300%, 500%, 700%.
He's making the drugs cheaper. Okay.
So today I'm thrilled to announce that the two world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, have agreed to offer their most popular GLP-1 weight loss drug I call it the fat drug, remember? At drastic discounts, they're very effective drugs. And so far, I've never heard anything bad about them, I only hear good about them.
Well, I've heard bad
Is
about
there
them.
anything bad about them, Bobby? I don't know. I haven't
Yes,
heard
there's bad
anything.
things about them, President Trump, my goodness.
Someday maybe it'll come out, which will notify you.
It's already
immediately.
come out. Why is he saying
So
that?
far, I haven't heard that, including the drugs known as Zepbound and Wegovy, often called Ozempic. This is a triumph for American patients that will save lives and improve the health of millions and millions of Americans. Amazing thing. They are amazing. I want to thank Eli Lilly CEO David Ricks, a friend of mine. We've worked long and hard. He and I got this whole thing started in a way. And Novo Nordisk CEO Mike Dustar for joining us today. Great, talented people. They make a lot of money. I looked at the money, but they're entitled to the money because the companies are doing very well. Along with Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary Howard Lutnick. Do you take any of this stuff, Howard?
Not yet.
Okay, good. CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz, he doesn't take it. Food and Drug Administrator Commissioner Marty McCary, and Director of Medicare Chris Plum. And we have Steve, where's Steve? Is he here? Head of Public Relations for the White House. He's taking it. The United States is just 4% of the world's population and consumes only 13% of all prescription drugs, yet pharmaceutical companies make 75% of their profits from the American customer. I would say that's not so good, right? It's not exactly great. To address this chronic unfairness, I signed an executive order earlier this year instructing my administration to do everything in our power to implement most favored nations drug pricing, something that has been helped greatly by tariffs, because when nations refuse to do it, we should have put this in the case yesterday. I just say, well, if you're not going to do it, we're going to charge you a like amount of tariffs. And they immediately say, we'll do it, which means that Americans should pay no more than the lowest price offered anywhere in the world. So that you've heard for years the disparity where you'll pay $150 for a pill in New York and you'll pay $10 for a pill in London. Now you're going to pay $20 both, because the world is a little bit bigger than the US, so it goes up that way, but you'll pay $20 and $20. A tremendous advantage to our country after years of being abused by the world system. Already Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and EMD, Serrano, have agreed to drastically lower their prices for American patients, and today Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are joining the phenomenal list of the most exciting announcements. I mean, nobody's ever had announcements like, and this has to do with other pharmaceutical products also. But we're covering this today because it's such a big seller, because it's the #1 selling thing there is today. These are two companies that behind the groundbreaking weight loss drugs that have helped millions of Americans struggling with obesity live better, longer lives, everything else. These are the two companies that really broke ground. Until now, neither of these two popular drugs have been covered by Medicare for weight loss, and they've only rarely been covered by Medicaid. They've often cost consumers more than $1,000 per month, and some a lot more than that. Americans have been spending as much as 520% more for Zepbound and 1,400% more for Wegovy than patients in Europe. Think of that. 1,400% more than a patient in Europe for the exact same box. And that ends starting today. The other countries are not happy with us. Now, I don't think they like me too much, Bobby, but that's okay. Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are committing to offer Zepbound and Wegovy at most favored nations rates for American patients. This will slash the cost of Wegovy from $1,350 a month to ultimately $250 a month. $1,350 to $250. Did I do a good job? They don't write about it, you know, they like to not write these things. And reduce, you think Biden could have done this? I don't think so. And reduce the monthly cost of Zepbound from $1,080 to $346. In addition, they're both committing that future GLP-1 weight loss drugs taken orally, which are currently under development, will be sold at no more than $149 per month. It's a massive, think of that. You go from $1,300 to $149 a month. We anticipate these new versions will be coming out in a very short period of time. All of these drugs will be available directly to the consumer at TrumpRx.gov. Trump, they want to use my name. Trump, it better be good. TrumpRx.gov. And I think it's turning out to be pretty amazing, right, Alice? Just as significantly, Medicare and Medicaid will finally cover the cost of these weight loss drugs for millions of patients suffering from obesity. Co-pays for Medicare patients will be as low as $50. This is tremendous savings. I mean, now you're talking about from $1,350 to $50. This is tremendous news for the American seniors. And you all remember when I had 1/8 of 1% for the year. I cut it 1/8, and I was so thrilled. But now we're cutting it 1,000%, 1,200%. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. Nobody else could have done it, but I say that modestly. In addition, you think it was easy dealing with these people? It wasn't. You think it was easy saying, your drug, Mr. Eli Lilly, that we're selling for $1,300 is going to be sold for $250. You know the amazing thing, the stocks all went up. I mean, these guys they're fantastic. Because it's going to equalize the world. The world's a bigger place, and it's going to equalize. I was a little surprised to see that, but I'm happy about it. In addition, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk have agreed to provide all of their other medications to Medicaid at most favored nations prices. Most favored nations, meaning that you will pay the lowest price anywhere in the world. That's what you're going to pay. Whereas before they paid low prices and we paid, you know, thousands of percentile ahead more. And to sell these drugs to all consumers at deeply discounted prices via TrumpRx.com. When is TrumpRx.com opening?
The site is open. It will launch in terms of giving people prices before the end of the year.
Okay, got to make sure it's successful. It's got my name on it. I don't want to be like so many others. I don't want to be like the train they're building in California, okay, which has about a 15,000% cost overrun. Or for the beautiful Obama building that he's building in Chicago for the museum, which is now shuttered up and dead. They got it up, and they couldn't finish. It's about, would you say, 5 years behind schedule? And about 2,000% over budget. Then he tells us how to run Medicaid. Many of the most widely used drugs will be available for 60% off, or even more than that. In addition, all new medications introduced by Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk to the American market will be sold at the heavily reduced most favored nations price. Most favored nations price estimates, because they have been thousands of percent lower than what we were selling in many cases. Furthermore, Eli Lilly is investing $27 billion. That's all. And Novo Nordisk will invest $10 billion. That's all. That's peanuts. In the United States to reshore, do a big domestic manufacturing job in the facilities they're going to spend. So Eli Lilly spent $27 billion. Novo is spending $10 billion in the United States. So they're building new plant and equipment. That's part of what will be $20 or $21 trillion this year. There's never been anything like it. I know nobody talks about it, but there's never been anything like, I would say, you would say, that there's never been anything like this ever, whether it's China or Europe, or you could take all of Europe, there's never been anything like this. So we're already past 17 trillion. We're going to be, I think by the time the year closes out, we'll have investments of over $21 trillion based on the way we're going. And by the way, tariffs are very important. Without tariffs, perhaps it could be a little bit different, to put it mildly. Tariffs are so important. The decision in the Supreme Court would be devastating to our country if we got a negative, devastating if we got a negative decision. But this is a great day for American health and healthcare, and for all of American patients. These are things that are miracles to have this happen. And they're, we're bringing all our medicines, again, because of tariffs, we're bringing all our medicines. If you remember where during COVID, we made almost no medicine here. We had to go to China, we had to go to Ireland, we had to go to other places, UK, to get our medicine. We didn't make it here. Now we're making it, we'll soon be making it all here, again, because of tariffs. And my election, but because of tariffs much more. For years, politicians have talked about making health care affordable, but my administration is actually doing it. Americans deserve the best health care in the world, and we're now getting the best health care at the lowest price. So I'd like to ask somebody who's doing a fantastic job, Secretary Kennedy, to say a few words, followed by Dr. Roz, Dr. Twomp, and then Eli Lilly, CEO David Ricks, and Novo Nordisk CEO Mike Dustar. These are incredible stars in that business. Like Dustar is a big star. And I can tell you that David Ricks is one of the hottest people in the world in business, but the business that he's in is pharmaceutical. And the job he's done with Eli Lilly is incredible. Both of these gentlemen, they really are stars in the truest sense. And it's an honor to have you in the White House. And go to it, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to start by thanking you, Mr. President, for declaring war on chronic disease in this country. This is something no American president has ever
Sorry,
done.
guys.
If we want to solve the chronic disease crisis, we have to tackle it, obesity. Obesity is the #1 driver of chronic disease. 50% of our adult population are obese or overweight, and it drives about 50% of healthcare costs in this country. Diabetes, cardiac diseases, we are going to see a decline because of this historic agreement. We're going to see a decline in costs, but also, more importantly, in the afflictions themselves. There are, President Trump is the friend of the forgotten American. Obesity is a disease of poverty, overwhelmingly. And these drugs have only been available for people who have wealth. At one point, the majority of prescriptions, the highest concentration of prescriptions in this country, was the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And what about the people who live in rural areas, who live in food deserts? What about the people in urban areas who live in food deserts and are suffering from obesity and are locked into that system where they can only get ultra-processed foods, which are aggravating the problem? This will be a lifesaver to them. It's not a panacea. It's not a silver bullet. President Trump has also instructed us to address and end the root causes of chronic disease, and we're doing that. We're about to release dietary guidelines that are going to change the food culture in this country. They're going to change the kind of food the military gets. They're going to change the kind of food that our children get. We're releasing those in December. The Presidential Council for Physical Fitness is going to get more Americans into, particularly our children, into physical activity so that we can attack the root causes of this. But in the meantime, there's nothing more important than we can do than lower this price. As I said, it is the #1 cost of all drugs. This is the biggest drug in our country. That's why this is the most important of all the MFN announcements we've made. This is going to have the biggest impact on the American people. All Americans, even those who are not on Medicaid and Medicare, are going to be able to get the same price for their drugs, for their GLP drugs. This happened because of the vision of David Ricks, of Mike Dustar, and the other people, and the people on our team who figured out a way to align the interests of the shareholders of their company with the health of the American public. And it is a momentous accomplishment. It took months and months of negotiations. And I had a wonderful conversation with Mike Dustar about his experience. And he thanked me for the caliber of people who are on our side of the negotiating team. Chris Klump walked away from $1 billion business in order to join this administration. Emma Hernandez, David Brooks, and of course, Dr. Oz and Marty McGarry, who made this happen. They saw that this could be a win-win situation, that this was not a zero-sum game. The Biden administration tried to solve this problem unsuccessfully, I might add, by throwing $40 billion at it. And they were able to achieve an agreement that will actually create savings for the American public. So we're making all of this available at a savings, and that's because the price of diabetes prescriptions is also going to drop. And the savings that we get from that are now going to make it available to people who do not have diabetes, people who have a BMI of 27 and above, who are pre-diabetic or have heart disease risk. They will be able to get it, but everybody will be able to get this drug, and it's going to change. We will lose, the American public, because of this agreement, will lose 125 million pounds by this time next year. So it is going to have dramatic effects on human health in this country. And I want to thank President Trump for his leadership. He said that I'd gotten a lot done as HHS secretary, but almost none of that is due to my ability. It's because I'm surrounded by people who are smarter than me, who are more able than me, and those people came into the administration because they were inspired by President Trump. People like Chris Klump are here because they see this. Yeah, believe me, they're a lot smarter than I am.
He doesn't really mean that he's being modest.
It is true, unfortunately. But I want to thank you, Mr. President, because you've made me a success here by allowing me to attract these extraordinary people. And I want to again thank David Ricks, who we've been in this Oval Office again and again. You keep saying he's the smartest guy in industry, that he could talk a dog off a meat truck. But it came to the table, and Mike Newstar told me, he said,
Convinced people for 20 years that it was okay for you to pay $10 and for America to pay $140. That's why they make $45, $50 million a year. He did. Finally, I said, I'm back.
He did. Anybody can do that, but they're entitled, but now it's down to what it should be.
and Mike Dustar told me what a pleasure it was to negotiate with people who were smart, who had common sense, who were able to put themselves in his position and hammer out this deal that is good for everybody. And it's great for the American public. I want to close again by just saying that this is a tool in the toolkit. It is not a silver bullet. It is an arrow in our quiver. It will allow a lot of people who are locked into high-risk obesity to finally lose weight, to reset, and then start doing the kind of things that will address the root causes of obesity. So I want to thank these extraordinary CEOs for sticking with us on this, for allowing us to make this happen. Mike Dustar said to me, he said, we've known we've had to do this for many years. We just haven't been able to get over the edge, and that this President Trump's order, his executive order, was the catalyst to do something that we always knew needed to be done. So again, thank you for your vision, for your commitment, and thank you to all the CEOs and all of my team for making this historic agreement happen.
Change your view on Tylenol for women that are pregnant?
Oh, as I said,
Because there were some false reports out about Tylenol that Bobby changed his view. I don't think he's changing.
I'm not going to change until the science changes, and the science does not look like it's changing. It's getting stronger and stronger. every day we recommend is that mothers, pregnant mothers, talk to their physicians, the mothers of small kids talk to their physicians, and we've advised the physicians to reduce the thresholds and to reduce the amount of Tylenol that they give to children as much as possible and only use it when it's absolutely critical.
So we're going to go through some of the deal points, but it does make itself clear that the real stake here is the forgotten man. President Trump, I believe you won the election because you remember the forgotten man. You speak to them, they hear you, they listen to you, and he connects well because he actually does things that materially change their lives. Secretary Kennedy spoke passionately, as he always does, about the problems with obesity. And just to put some very fine point numbers on this, obesity itself is responsible for half of all chronic disease and definitely generates more than a quarter of all the money we spend out of CMS, the $1.75 trillion that we spend annually. We need to address this tempest of dramatically increasing prices for healthcare, and you're not going to do it just by throwing money at the problem. You have to actually literally deal with the causes of the increase in price, and pharmaceutical prices are a part of that. They've been a part of it for a long time, but this president insisted that we address it. In fact, the first time I heard this directly from you, sir, was in January at Mar-a-Lago, where he took Secretary Kennedy, myself, Mr. Ricks, who you'll hear from in a second, to dinner, and demanded explanations for most favored nation pricing and what's wrong with it. And there was not a good reason against it. Now, MAHA is critical. America will have to get fit in order to right-size the healthcare system, and MAHA has the answers. It has obesity management through diet and exercise and sleep and dealing with issues related to that. And I want to say it as clear as I can, obesity is not an absence of GLP-1 drugs. We're all clear on that. But as Secretary Kennedy said, it is an arrow in our quiver that we must use and should use. The MAHA movement means making it easier for the right things to happen, easier for you to be healthy. If you're sitting at home and watching, that's what MAHA means to me. Reducing costs of the #1 most expensive medicine category in our country for Americans does just that. It is as MAHA as it gets. Today's the fourth MFN. President Trump highlighted the first three. Leading U.S. company, leading European company. We've dropped in fertility drugs, so we'll make lots of Trump babies, I'm hoping, by the midterms. But it's really about fairness. Fundamentally, it's fairness in pricing to Americans who have been getting ripped off, paying 3 times more than their European counterparts for the exact same product made in the same factory, in the same bottle, in the same packaging. We shouldn't be paying 3 times more, and we are no longer doing that. Fairness to the forgotten man also means dealing with the reality that they can afford a life-saving, life-changing drug that 10% or more of affluent Americans take, but folks without means can't manage it. Secretary Kennedy mentioned New York City. Actually, the #1 zip code is the Upper East Side, which is where you have property. And folks who know ritzy areas buy important real estate there because those real estate properties are worth a lot there. That should not be the #1 zip code in America for purchasing GLP-1 drugs. It speaks to the fact that we have an innately unfair system that penalizes folks who can use these medications the most. Folks in the Rust Belt. Now, what are you supposed to do if the right thing to do for your health is right there, but you can't afford to get it? Folks need to be able to utilize these life-saving medications, and being fair about its distribution is essential. And we are democratizing access to these medications and dealing with a moral imperative to make sure that all Americans have access to avoiding all the obesity-related complications by making sure they can afford, if they do things right, not just MAHA appropriate interventions, but also medications like this. In fact, we think these deals, and this part's very important, we believe these deals within 2 years, by the time the ink dries on these contracts that were signed earlier today, within 2 years, based on our health improvements, we will be budget neutral. These drugs will not cost us money. The American taxpayers will be getting their money back. That's how important it is for us to reduce the cost of healthcare in this country, especially when it's due to preventable problems like obesity. In addition, we have an update, Secretary Kennedy. We thought it was 125 million pounds. Mr. President, our estimate, based on the company numbers as well, is Americans will lose 135 billion pounds by the midterms. But I don't measure it in pounds. I measure it in saved lives. People can sleep again because they can breathe as when they go to bed. Folks whose knees don't hurt. People who don't have heart attacks, renal failure, dementia, all the things we know are associated with obesity and much more. This wouldn't have happened if we didn't have the right tools. and had the ability with a team that has been spoken of early. So I want to call out Abe Sutton. He's in the back right there. He leads the CMS Innovation Center. It made the deal possible. And they are announcing today a new model, a brand new model aimed at getting to the vulnerable populations amongst us these medications. The forgotten man will be able to afford these drugs now. Governors will be thanking President Trump. They should be calling directly, sir, because they're going to be able to afford Medicaid next year in ways unimaginable, and they will stop crowding out education and other civil services. We cannot be a wealthy nation without being a healthy nation. That's why today's MFN deal is a historic step forward for all of America, and this is something that I don't think is partisan. There is no way you can argue against what just happened. These numbers to my side here, Dexter's Administrator McCary, who's been instrumental in this process as well. $1,350 baseline. Chris Klump will go through the numbers, but just focus on that 245, which is what he's going to point you to. And Chris Klump has been an unbelievable leader, an innovator. You've heard his name before. He's spoken here before, but he is continuing to change the face of CMS. And I love the fact that with his leadership, we're bringing a lot of wonderful people in. Inma Hernandez has been mentioned, John Brooks as well, and many others, including Beth Kelly, who runs the legal issues around these issues, because these guys are barracudas, Mr. President. They will take you down, slice you in little bits. And Howard's been there. It's no longer happening. You've got sharp folks. We're open for business. It's a generational opportunity to serve, and people are showing up. God bless you. Let me introduce now Chris Klump, who is just makes my life easier every day. I'm so proud of him.
All great deals are rooted in principles. We've talked about this before, and today we're announcing another truly great deal. I love this deal, and it's rooted in the principle of potential. This is about unlocking the full potential of every American, the grandmother, the grandfather, the father, the son, by unlocking access to affordable life-saving medications that make a meaningful difference in their lives when they need them most. That's what today delivers. It's a deal built on principle, for people, for the American people, and backed by policy that works. So the most important step to getting healthy is believing that your life has value, that God meant for each of us to have purpose and joy and to live fully. And to do that, we must be good stewards of our body. And the president has been fighting to provide another tool to do just this and enable this. And it's my pleasure to get to outline the contours of the deal today. So first and foremost, customary with the three prior announcements, all of the customary most favored nation terms that you've grown familiar with apply to these two deals. So this is actually deals 4 and 5. Full Medicaid portfolios today at most favored nation prices. Shared savings from existing drug prices in Europe deployed back to the United States. All primary care drugs at U.S. net prices or most favored nation prices available on Trump RX before the end of the year. And most importantly, all future drug launches across commercial, Medicaid, Medicare, and the cash markets at most favored nation prices going forward. Now, GLP-1s. So first, under this agreement, starting doses of oral GLP-1s will cost just $149 a month for everyone. That's roughly 1/8 the cost of the list price today. For Medicare, manufacturers are voluntarily reducing their prices for GLP-1s currently used for diabetes and other covered indications to $245 per month across all doses. The savings generated from this change in prices will be used to provide new coverage to obesity and those who struggle with obesity and also have high metabolic or cardiovascular risk. Again, all for the same $245 a month. That means Americans struggling with diabetes and obesity, with heart disease, or other chronic conditions can access these life-changing drugs more affordably. Medicare patients, importantly, will only pay $50 a month for a copay. This is a massive reduction from what happens today. For Medicaid, Novo and Lilly have agreed to extend the same new low government pricing to all 50 state Medicaid programs should they opt in. And we encourage them to opt in, and these will be available not just for diabetes and current covered indications, but also for obesity again. And in case you're getting tired of me saying it, at the same price of $245 a month, all covered doses. On Trump RX, the average price of injectables and orals will start at $350 on average. That's compared to roughly $500 today. And that will trend down to, you guessed it, the same $245 a month over the next 24 months. That is 1/5 of the list price. It is 1/2 of the best price in the United States today. We're hoping, Mr. President, that your friend who has to travel to England to afford these drugs will no longer need to do so and can come and do it in the United States. I'll also just mention that the $149 is $1 less than what you asked us to achieve. Just gonna make sure that's clear. So I want to highlight two other really important points that make me love this deal so very much. First, this isn't about spending more, it's about spending smarter. The savings from the diabetes drug price reductions are being used in a cost-neutral way to fund the new indications for taxpayers. That's amazing, and that happens inside of that same 24-month period. It's cost-neutral. We're spending the money more wisely. But second, this isn't just about lower drug prices for Americans, though it does do that, but together with physical activity, with healthy eating and diet, and where appropriate, the use of breakthrough GLP-1s, the real return on investment is healthier Americans, lower chronic disease, lower costs, we estimate by tens of billions of dollars a year, and most importantly, higher productivity. Today is about freeing Americans from the weight, literally and figuratively, that holds us back. It's about unlocking the potential of every citizen to live fully, to contribute fully, and to find joy in their health. We cannot reach our full potential as a nation if we do not reach our full potential as individuals. And we cannot reach our full potential as individuals if we are not healthy. Thanks to Nova and Lilly for showing up so constructively over the last several months to make this possible. In particular, thanks to you, Mr. President, for again demonstrating that you fight for every American, this time for potential. It's now my sincere pleasure to first introduce Dave Ricks from Lilly and then Mike Dusta from Nova.
Great, thank you, Chris. It's truly an honor to be here today for this historic step forward to expand access to a class of medications that can fundamentally change the arc of chronic disease in our country. Of course, these are the incretin or GLP-1 agonist that we've been speaking about. For nearly 150 years, my company, Eli Lilly, has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today, oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay?
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Let's take a break. Yeah.
Okay, wait, we gotta rewind. What the hell just happened?
Where appropriate, the use of breakthrough GLP-1s. The real return on investment is healthier Americans, lower chronic disease, lower costs, we estimate by tens of billions of dollars a year, and most importantly, higher productivity. Today is about freeing Americans
Yeah, what was that?
from the weight.
Okay,
literally and
whatever. Let's
figuratively,
go. What the hell just
that holds
happened?
us back. It's about unlocking the potential of every citizen to live fully, to contribute fully.
I'm
and to
sorry,
find
I'm making
joy
you guys
in their
listen to
health.
this. I have to see
We cannot reach our
what
full
that
potential
was.
as a nation if we do not reach our full potential as individuals.
I don't know who it
And we
was.
cannot reach our full potential as
It like
individuals
happened so
if
fast.
we are not healthy. Thanks to Nova and Lilly for showing up so
I'm
constructively over the
terrified
last
that it
several
was
months to make
President
this
Trump.
possible. In particular, thanks to you, Mr. President, for again demonstrating that you fight for every American, this time for
Okay.
potential. It's now
All right, it's not
sincere
President
pleasure
Trump because
to
he's
first
sitting
introduce
there,
Dave Ricks
so.
From Lilly and then Mike Dusta.
Okay, it's that guy. It's that guy. Wait, oh,
Thank you, Chris.
he's
It's
already,
truly
he
an
was
honor to be here
already
today.
like looking like a little bit,
It's a historic step forward
unstable,
to expand
right?
access to a class of medications
No, it wasn't Trump.
that can fundamentally change
but
the
still,
arc
this,
of chronic
what
disease
the, let's
in
see
our
who it
country.
was.
Of course, these are the incretin or GLP-1 agonist that we've been speaking about. For nearly
Yeah,
150
Billy,
years,
fasting is important.
My company, Eli Lilly, has been investing in America.
I don't like your
We've been
company,
advancing
Eli
science and
Lilly,
creating
at
high-value
all.
jobs. But today,
Okay, all right, did you see that? Wait, I'm sorry, I don't think you guys saw that. Okay, it was the guy that was right next, okay, there he is. And President Trump is hot, okay. Wow. All right.
Let's take a break. Yeah.
That was kind of terrifying. Wow, I don't even know what to say about what just happened, but geez. It is hard to stand there, and that guy did look pretty old, so you're right, Holly. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what just happened. Okay. So anyway, I have to say personally that I don't like any of this. This drug company stuff. I hate drug companies. As a journalist, the first big story I ever covered was like just the first month of being a journalist on the Jersey Shore in New Jersey for a newspaper that's still there called the Sandpaper. And my first big story was about things that were washing up on the beach, like people's spleens. And if you guys remember this, let me know. Hey, Norman. If you remember this, it was horrifying. There were hypodermic needles washing up on the Jersey Shore. This was Long Beach Island, Beach Haven, actually. Well, no, this was way before Snooki. I don't think Snooki was even alive for this one. But anyway, this was the summer of 1987. Yeah, it must have been 87. Wait, no, I graduated. Yeah, I graduated college in 1987. So, then I did my internship, I think, and then I went to the beach. And I was still at the beach. But anyway, yeah, my first job was as a reporter at the beach for the Sandpaper. Anyway, so all of these hospital waste stuff was washing up. There was effluent coming out of a pipe that was going straight from the Ciba-Geigy plant straight into the ocean. And they told us that it was really, really safe. They even pretended to drink some of it, effluent from a factory. Yeah. So anyway, that's how I began my career, was writing about drug companies and how bad they were for our environment. Not even the drugs that they were peddling, but the way they were making them, and actually then the hospital waste and all that stuff. So it was a lot. Anyway, the misery of 87. I don't know. I wasn't miserable, but it was a big story, and I covered it. I went up to Toms River, New Jersey, where all of the officials, because Toms River is the seat of Ocean County. So, and that's where the newspaper is located. So anyway, I covered this story about Ciba-Geigy. Then I moved to Switzerland, to Basel, Switzerland, the home of Ciba-Geigy, actually, which kind of horrified me. But there was a lot going on back then, and ever since then, I have not been a fan of the damn drug companies. In fact, one of the other issues, man, there's so many stories about drug companies, but when they started advertising the drugs on television, the cute little butterflies, well, they told you about anal leakage and stuff like that. My gosh, so gross. And I thought, that was really the end of the getting people to take these drugs. I mean, telling them what they could do to them, but still they were buying them. Anyway, I moved to Switzerland in 1990, and I did it because of all the drugs in America, which is kind of crazy because Basel, Switzerland is the home of Novo Nordisk. I think that might be an American company, but it starts with an N. Novartis. No, I know that's wrong. Maybe you know what it is. I don't know. Hey, Des, I've been doing this for 10 years because I can, and I do, and I have a lot of very, very long-term followers, 10-year followers. So if you don't like it, you can go elsewhere. And if you say gross and disgusting things, you'll be kicked off. So that's all. Anyway, it's all good. So I'm a proponent of health with your food and health with Thank you very much, Mozeni. That's nice. Thank you for supporting my journalism. Because Novartis, thank you, Emil. Thank you so much. Sometimes, I'm turning 60 at the end of this month, so the brain doesn't always synapse the way it should, but that's why I have you guys, so it's very helpful. Anyway, yeah, Novartis and Ciba-Geigy, and what was the other one in Basel? I know there were a bunch of them, a bunch of drug companies. But personally, I don't do drugs. Thank you, Carol. You know what? I don't care. I don't care about the trolls. I'll just say one thing about all you trolls that are on here. I know that a lot of you are bots, so I'm not going to take anything a computer says to me very seriously. I also know that, I did not like it. Oh, you asked a question. Okay, Des, I'm sorry. Sometimes I do get a little, because really nasty people. But this streaming is great. I was on Facebook. Like I started on Facebook 10 years ago. And I became, I had to start being a podcaster because I had written a book that was born from my journalism. Please, I'm going to do my commercial now for my own book. Check out my website. It is jillbooks.com, JILLBOOKS. And I have so far published 2 books. The first book was about the way 9/11 changed our society, called Like It Was Yesterday. And I'm currently working on a sequel to that book that... Okay, the whole New York City thing is horrifying to me. And my next book is about the way that my book changed me and changed my life. And also, I was quite right about 9/11 being the first of a devastating sequence of events that would destroy, if not our country, but definitely start with New York City, which is what they've been gunning for since 1992, people. 1992, the first time they tried to take out the World Trade Center. So it's near and dear to my heart. I literally live 9/11 every day, not just because it is William. Please check out my website. I don't advertise anything else on my page, and I'm not here trying to sell you anything that anyone else does. I do it all by myself. I am a one-woman show. And I love it. I was always a writer. I always wanted to be behind the cameras. I also worked for Nickelodeon for a few years as a writer for children's television. But now I'm in front of the camera, and you know what? It's okay. And I can handle all the slings and arrows you throw at me. Hi, Laura. Because I have people like Laura, and I have people like Donna. And Donna's been following me for 10 years, and she has become one of my dearest friends. I cannot imagine life without Donna. So I love 80s hair metal. I love everything 80s, of course. I'm one of the first Gen Xers, so there's that. But anyway, when it comes to food, I moved to Switzerland in 1990 because of the American food, because I was terrified of the food and the way that people were getting so fat. And so thank you, Deidre, thank you. The way that, everybody was behaving, it just seemed crazy, and the food was a big crux of it. So thank you, William. I love being a writer. I'm also an editor, and now I'm a publisher, by the way. I'm sorry, I have to toot my own horn, because if I don't, who else will? Well, some of my long-term followers will, because you guys are awesome. And if you guys want to know if my books are any good, just ask and they'll tell you. Because I only sell to you guys. And no, my books are not on Amazon. Actually, Like It Was Yesterday, my first book, is on Amazon, and it's being sold by other people. So if you go on Amazon and you want to buy my book, yeah, you'll get it cheap. It will be signed to somebody else, because I signed them all. So it will not be new. If you want a new book and you want to support my work instead of somebody who got my book from wherever and is reselling it, then please go to my website, jillbooks.com, and I will sign it personally for you. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. Oh, so Dougie too. Oh, you guys are so awesome. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Auslander. Yeah, I don't know about these teeth, but these are the teeth God gave me, and some of them have started to fall out because I have bruxism, which means I grind my teeth, and it's not a good situation. In fact, I just lost on this one, which really upsets me. But at the same time, I'm able to hide it by focusing on my now good side. Usually I didn't really care, but hi Sandy. And oh my gosh, I'm getting super excited for my birthday party. You guys can all hear me, right? Seems like you can. Laura, I think it's just you. Let me know, give me a sound check, everybody else. You also, wait, uh-oh. Can you give me a sound check? Its audio is good. Thank you, William. If at least one of you can hear me, then I know that your audio problems are on your side. Okay, thank you, Deidre. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for subscribing to my page. I really appreciate that. I'm going to ask you to do one better if you want to come to my birthday party, which will be on the 29th of November. My birthday is actually on the 30th, but 29th is a Saturday. So I am going to be planning it today. I'm actually heading to the venue, which is in Fort Lauderdale. So if you can't physically be here, and a lot of you watching are going to physically be here. Hello, Sandy. It's Sandy's birthday too. And I just have so many friends that I have garnered from this show. So it's been such a blessing in my life. I never, like I said, never wanted to be in front of the camera, but now that I am, it's actually awesome. So anyway, thank you, Holly. If you do want to come to my birthday party and you can't actually physically be here, you can still be at my birthday party because I'm going to do a members only birthday party situation. So, and it's going to be great. We'll have Anthony Corrado is going to be playing there. I've already booked him. I am so lucky. You guys have seen him on my show. He's the one man orchestra. So it's going to be great. And a lot of my friends are actually musicians. So you never know what's going to happen. And it's my birthday, so I'm definitely going to sing too. Even though I'm not a singer, I just play one on YouTube, but many of you say that you like my birthday. You like my singing. And some of you don't, and that's okay if you don't, but you're never going to stop me. So this is the birthday invitation right here is my birthday. Yes, Sagittarius. I am such a Sagittarius too. And I'm not a crazy leftist. So there's that. But I don't know how you missed it, Holly, but you're hearing it now. And if you want to come, let me know. Send me a messenger or whatever. And I will send you the information. I can't invite everyone in the world, and it's kind of a members only situation. So if you want to attend my birthday party virtually, you need to be a member of my show. It's less than $5 for the whole month. You'll be a member for the whole month. So consider becoming a member, and you can come to my birthday party. And then if you don't want to be a member anymore, you don't have to be. It's just a one-time thing, and it will make sure that there are no trolls at my birthday party, okay? Because I'm not going to have a birthday party with people saying all sorts of nasty stuff to any of us. So, yes, all my teeth are natural. Look, one fell out. Who would show that, right? And I don't care, because if I can help you from not losing your teeth, I'll tell you the way that you do it. You get a night guard. And I didn't do that in time, and I should have done it many years ago when my dentist told me that I have bruxism. But unfortunately, he did not tell me to get a night guard, so I don't really appreciate him, and I don't see him anymore. Just saying. There are many reasons why, but that's one of them. So I do have a night guard now, and I sleep with it every single night. And it has been very... Oh my gosh. Okay. Joshua, thank you for telling us this. Joshua got sexually assaulted in Meta VR. And I'm glad that you're telling us this, Joshua, because that is a true problem. And if you have children, please take all the social media away from them. Seriously, I don't think anybody under the age of actually 30 should use social media. That's a real thing. You know what? Sandy knows proper grammar. Please don't hold it against anybody for making typos on chats. Okay, Weaver, you are not the grammar police. that would be me. I am actually an editor, a writer, all of that. So if anybody wants to be the grammar police, it's going to be me and Sandy Girl. I know it was a typo, and you is fine. And that's bad English to say you is fine, but sometimes it's fun to use bad English. And when I do it, I feel like a total rebel because I was raised to speak very, very well. My mother was an English teacher, which is the greatest thing for me because I'm a writer. Anyway, it's all right. We've has to learn that we don't just call people out for their typos. That's kind of rude. So be cool, be nice to everybody, or we will toss you in the intercoastal with the sharks. Not that there are any sharks in there, but yeah, kind of rude. So okay, Kelvin has a question. What's your question, Kelvin? Oh my gosh, Weaver. Wow. Weaver says Hunter and his paid Ukrainian prostitution women got me. That sounds like a story, and feel free to tell us what happened to you if you'd like, because I kind of want to know. Stevie Nicks or Pat Benatar? Choose. Oh, Calvin, no, my God. Oh, wow, that's horrible. That's so hard. Man, I think Stevie, and then I'm like, no, Pat Benatar. And then I'm like, hit me with your best shot. No. And then I'm like, you know, clearly Fleetwood Mac. I guess I have to go with Stevie because I was a Fleetwood Mac fan when I was 7. So I don't know. Yes, exactly. We're still getting heck for calling Sandy out. We don't call Sandy out. And anyway, she's got the same birthday as me, and she's going to be at my birthday party. So be nice to her because she's got a whole decade on me, and she looks amazing, which I love about her. Anyway. All right, you guys, I'm procrastinating. Oh, God, Kelvin. Prince or Michael Jackson? Choose. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Kelvin, you're killing me here. I can tell you a cool story about Prince. Let me tell you a story about Prince before I go. Okay. I've never met Michael Jackson, but I love Michael Jackson. Absolutely. His music, amazing. But so Prince, Guns N' Roses or Neil Diamond. Oh, you guys are so bad. I'm like, I love them all. I do get compliments on my hair all the time because I let myself go gray like 5 years ago, and best move I ever made. Oh, Stevie is a leftist. Yeah, that's a problemo, but I still love her music. Okay, so all right, Weaver, are you a leftist? Are you a Antifa or something like that? If you are, you can find the door yourself. Oh my God, I love Christine McVie's voice. Oh my gosh, it's like great stuff. I love you guys know all of it. Okay, let me tell you my quick story about Prince. Okay, so Prince was like nobody back in the day. You know, I think I was in high school. I'm going with, it was like 1982. It was either 1982. I'm going to go with 1982, okay? And my family went to my cousin's bar mitzvah in Hampton, Virginia. And we stayed at a hotel in Hampton, Virginia. You know, like just a regular hotel, like, you know, Howard Johnson, something like that. Nothing major. My parents did not splurge on our motels. And it was a motel. It was not a hotel. So anyway, we went to the bar mitzvah, right? And when we come out of the bar mitzvah, which it was in the morning, so we come out in the early evening or like the afternoon, and we see this, or maybe it was the evening. I can't remember exactly when we first saw the bus. Okay, so Prince used to have this bus, and it had horses, and it was purple, and it was gorgeous. And my little sister is a total horse fanatic. She's like, check out that bus. That thing is amazing. And there are just all these beautiful, you know, it's just gorgeous. The horses and the purple and everything. My sister was wrapped with the bus. Whose bus is that? Right? So anyway, I think we saw that earlier in the day. then we came home or came back to the hotel from the bar mitzvah, and there were all these groupies. They were everywhere. We're like, wow, so that's a musician's bus, and we figured that out pretty quickly. But all these young women were in the hotel, and they were all waiting for Prince to come to the hotel, and so the hotel was super like tight on security, so you had to prove that you were staying at the hotel, so we had to show our hotel keys and everything. Again, we had no idea who Prince was, no idea. So we're like, whatever, whoever this guy is. So my parents were like, I think they went to the hotel room, and we three kids went to the game room, which was kind of on the way in through the hotel. Like you had to go through there were video games, and I was Pac-Man queen. I loved Pac-Man. And so actually this was a Ms. Pac-Man machine, because I'll never forget this. So I'm like, what, 15, 16 years old, and I'm playing Ms. Pac-Man. I'm, having my good time. And I know there's all these weird people around, but whatever. And so suddenly, you guys with your comments are too funny. Anyway, I can't even look at them. I like get lost in my story. Okay, so I'm playing Ms. Pac-Man, and Prince comes into the hotel, and all the girls start screaming, right? And they're like all about it. And so he's got this bodyguard with him, and it was huge. This guy was like a monster. But Prince, he's a little guy, and he was probably about the same size as me. And he really didn't need a bodyguard, because he was doing his own job of pushing people out of the way. And as he came in, Prince himself pushed me into the Ms. Pac-Man machine. Oh yeah, I was kissing Blinky, I was like, my face into. I'm like, what the heck? And so I pull out of the Ms. Pac-Man machine, and the purple one goes by, and he's like looking all with the hair and the purple and all that stuff, and he was amazing. And I'm like, what just happened? So all the girls that saw this happen, and they all saw it, they all run over to me, and they start like touching me, and they're like, Prince just touched you, and they're grabbing at me, and I'm like, what's happening? I have no clue. It was very confusing. Okay, so anyway, we go back home to Pittsburgh, Monday, back at school and everything. And so I asked my one friend who watched Soul Train all the time, and she was like the hippest. Her name was Lori, and she was just the coolest. And she always listened to that music that I never listened to, because I wasn't really like into what was it? There was anyone from Pittsburgh. What was that station that played the Careless Whisper, Spandau Ballet? Okay, I'm going to pick True on that one. No, I'm going to pick Careless Whisper. No, I'm going to pick True. You're killing me here, Calvin. Do you know all my favorite songs or what? So anyway, yeah, so Lori told me that Prince was this up-and-coming rhythm and blues, I guess, was the genre at the time. But he went full stream 80s music on us all, didn't he just? And then his music blew up right after that. And I was like, and ever since then, Prince pushed me into a Ms. Pac-Man machine. So, yeah. Careless Whisper is a classic, but so is True, Deidre. I can't even with any of this. You guys have the best taste in music. So we will be doing a music show actually on Saturday with First Generation Band. So stay tuned for that. Because the Beach Report always has the very best music, because we love music here. We're 80s children. We're Gen X. We're music aficionados. All right, you guys. Well, I got to get back to work now. So thank you for indulging me in my memory of Prince pushing me into Ms. Pac-Man machine. And Calvin, I'm a huge Trumper. So, take that for what it's worth. But I don't know how anybody could have liked the Biden criminal regime. I mean, think about it. Seriously? Did you vote for Kamala? Did you do that? Because it's not cool, they were criminals, okay? God bless America, indeed. So, yeah, I had to vote for the one person who really cares about my country. I know. So, Calvin, I think you're the one who needs to get your mind wrapped around the one man who actually wants to make America great again. I mean, seriously, how can you not love that? All right, you guys, I'm going to say ciao for now. Thank you, Chrissy, and I'll see you on the next Beach Report. Don't forget, you can join my channel as my membership if you want to go to my birthday party. What's the date? It's the 6th, I think, and I'm really bad with math, but I think there's... Sandy, how many days until my birthday party? 23? I think it's 23. Something like that. Anyway. All right, you guys, I will see you on the next Beach Report. Hopefully, I'll be at the beach. I got to get to the beach soon. I got to get to the beach today. It's a little bit overcast, so I'm not really sure. Oh, Prentice voted for Kamala. Oh, what were you thinking? Seriously? You know she blew through more than $1 billion? $1 billion. Who blows through $1 billion in like how many months? You really want that as our president? That's pretty sad. Anyway, you've seen her lately, right? She's a hot mess. I hope she runs again. All right, you guys. Oh, yeah, report anybody who says that. Donna, I didn't see that, but please go report it now before I go off this live and it's gone, because you talk like that, you're not welcome on my show. So, all right, you guys. I will see you on the next Beach Report. Donna, let me know if you got rid of that horrible person that said such a horrible thing, because I don't like killers and I don't like violence. Thank you, Donna. Okay, now I can go. See you guys on the next Beach Report. Thank you, Deidre. I hope you come back. I hope you join my members group. All right. You know what? Healthcare is kind of a, pie in the sky thing. I take care of my own health. Maybe you should too. Stop eating poison food. All right, you guys. Stop taking drugs. All right, ciao for now. Get out in the sunshine. Seriously, exercise. Go for a walk. It's pretty easy. Just do this with your arms. Do all sorts of stuff with your body. Move yourself. You'll be healthy. Because the Lord made you a perfect human being, and he gave you all the equipment to be a healthy human being. You just have to use it. And fasting is one of those things. So all of you who think I'm crazy for fasting, do I look crazy? Reserve your judgment. Anyway, I do look healthy. I know this for a fact. All right, you guys, we'll see you on the next Beach Report. Ciao for now.